waterfalls, glaciers and volcanoes. They're all geographical features you can see in Iceland. A group of us from Farnham in Surrey went to Iceland with a geography trip from school.
The two words I'd use to describe Iceland are different and awesome.
Interesting and adventurous.
This is what we thought of it and what we learned while we were there.
Stark and calm.
Cold, desert-like.
Well, the only thing I'm worried about is getting wet.
Iceland is an island half the size of Great Britain in the North Atlantic Ocean. It has a population of only 300,000 and most of them live in and around the capital city, Reykjavik. Situated just below the Arctic Circle, Iceland has very little daylight in the winter, and in the summer the days are very long and the nights very short.
Iceland is on the mid-Atlantic ridge, which is where the American plates and European plates meet. In fact, the two plates are pulling apart at a rate of 3 millimetres a year. Where the two plates are pulling apart, a rift valley is formed. All the volcanic and geothermal activity on the island takes place here because at the plate boundary, hot magma is so close to the surface of the Earth's crust. Ropy lava looks like strands of rope lying next to each other. As lava flows, the top surface cools and starts to solidify, but underneath the lava is still moving, creating a ripple effect on the surface.
Ten kilometres off the south coast of Iceland is the Min Archipelago. The islands are all volcanic and have been formed as a result of many volcanic eruptions and lava emissions from the mid-Atlantic ridge. There are about 80 craters in and around the islands, most of them are underwater. We're on the island of Heimaey, which is just off the south coast of Iceland.
About 30 years ago there was a major volcanic eruption and everyone on the island had to leave. After about 3 weeks, so much lava had come out that a mountain had formed.
Called Elfell, and we're climbing to the top of it. Heimaey is presently inhabited by nearly 5,000 people, who nearly all work for the fishing industry. The island of Heimaey has a perfect natural harbour. It's been the centre of fishing for hundreds of years.
The fish is processed in the island's factory and then shipped off to the mainland again.
So when the volcano erupted, the islanders were extremely worried about the lava blocking up the entrance to the harbour.
So they decided to pump the cold water from the sea onto the lava to help it solidify and cool down. It's pretty brittle and it's broken up and cooled down lava from the volcano when it did erupt.
You still feel the heat from the lava when it's still cooling. Put your hands into it, it's still really warm.
This is a stroke of geyser. It erupts every 7 minutes, shooting boiling water into the air. Like a pan boiling over, it shoots hot steam and water out of the ground. The water is heated below the Earth's surface and erupts out of a small hole in the ground.
Iceland is the only country in the world that produces all of its electricity from emission-free and sustainable resources. This is only possible because of the country's location on the mid-Atlantic ridge.
I don't think it's very possible in England for us to use hydroelectric and geothermal because we don't have the same sort of environment as Iceland, so it wouldn't work. But I definitely think England should learn from Iceland about how they are doing better energy resources.
For hundreds of years, the people of Iceland have used the hot water from under the Earth's surface to wash and do their laundry. Nowadays, technology and engineering means that they can use the heat from under the Earth's surface to generate electricity and hot water.
At this power station outside Reykjavik, they take the hot water and steam from over 1 kilometre below the Earth's surface to generate power. The steam is used to drive turbines and to produce electricity. The hot water is used to heat fresh water from a nearby lake. It's then piped over 20 kilometres to homes in and around the capital.
All over Iceland you see red pipes. These carry hot water to houses all over the country. Even though the hot water runs for miles and miles, the pipes are so well insulated that the temperature only drops by 2 degrees. Even when the snow lands on top of the pipes, it doesn't melt. Sometimes they leave the pipes uncovered and run them underneath the roads and pavements. This melts the snow and ice on top.
Greenhouses are a particular feature of Icelandic agriculture. The cold climate and dark winters mean that the growing season is short. Farmers take advantage of the cheap geothermal energy to heat their greenhouses. The main crops are tomatoes, cucumbers, green peppers, flowers and pot plants.
Tourism in Iceland is a growth industry and is now the second biggest employer after the fishing industry. People visit from all over the world to see waterfalls, glaciers and geysers and experience the unique geography of Iceland for themselves.
One of the most popular tourist attractions is the Blue Lagoon. Every year, over 300,000 people visit the geothermal spa. That's more people than live in the whole of Iceland.
We've been swimming in the Blue Lagoon. It's one of the most famous places in Iceland. And there's like white mud at the bottom, which you put all over your face, and it acts as a clean cleanser. The water's been heated underground, so it's really warm. The magma from the mantle of the earth heats it, because it's all volcanic rock around here.
The water is 38 degrees C, which is much hotter than the average bath, and it's full of hydrogen sulfide, which gives it a particular smell.
Yeah, it smells really eggy.
It's the unspoilt natural environment that attracts many of the tourists to Iceland, but thousands of visitors have an impact on the landscape, which has to be controlled and managed. Gullfoss is one of the most famous waterfalls in Iceland and is a massive tourist attraction.
And it has a 32-metre drop from top to bottom.
Because of the amount of tourists, there's a big problem with footpath erosion.
Some places have been boarded off from tourists because it's unsafe and it protects the environment.
All over Iceland there are hundreds of waterfalls. Many are fed by the water from melting glaciers. The waterfalls are formed as water runs over the bands of hard and soft rock. The softer rock is eroded more quickly and the water begins to drop down. At the bottom of the waterfall, sand and rock swirl around in the plunge pool, making it deeper and deeper.
I am underneath a glacier here. It's very wet and cold. Well, I just crawled underneath the glacier and seen how quickly it was melting. It just looks like a massive ice cube, and a massive cave underneath there, with a massive lake as well. Oh, the only thing I'm worried about is getting wet. As more and more ice forms at the top of the glacier, the weight of the snow and ice pushes the glacier forward and down the valley. The water underneath also helps it to move. As it progresses, the soil and stones underneath are eroded. When the ice melts, piles of rocks and stones are left behind. This is called moraine.
This is a snout of a glacier. What's different about this glacier is it sits on the top of a volcano, which is why the ice is black, because of all the volcanic ash. This can also be quite dangerous, because if there's an eruption, there can also be flash floods.
At the moment, this glacier is retreating. This is probably due to global warming.
The two words I'd use to describe Iceland are
barren, deserted.
Should I think of a word?
Beautiful, cold.
Barren, and it makes me feel small.
Absolutely gorgeous.